So I asked the question, what do humans want? Not what do you want, not Shambra, but the typical human. You'll need a new piece of paper here. What do humans want? Security. Yes, and we won't run the microphone, but speak loudly, and I'll repeat, just so everybody listening in online, who's also in the room here by now, I hope you've expanded and come into the room with us. So security, absolutely. Kind of interesting, a very interesting dynamic for anyone who is a spiritual psychologist. This almost doesn't make sense. You want to be here. Part of you doesn't want to be here. You complain about life, but yet you want security. You want to be even more kind of enclosed than you were yesterday. But security, good one. Good. What else do humans want? Just one at a time, don't they? Everybody's throwing this at me. Acceptance. Acceptance and acknowledgement. And acknowledgement. Yes. Which is an interesting thing in itself. How is one going to get acceptance or acknowledgement if they don't accept or acknowledge themselves? If you out there listening in here listening, if you have an acceptance issue, if you feel other people just don't accept me, they just don't understand me, it's because you don't accept or understand yourself. And did I hear somebody call out, oh crap? Yes, they want acceptance and acknowledgement. They're in this identity struggle to accept themselves. They try looking for it all the time from others. They most never occurs to them to look at it from within. So they're looking for acceptance. Do my parents accept me? Do my coworkers accept me? Does my wife or my husband accept me? Do average people in the street accept me? So they're constantly looking for that. They're looking for acknowledgement or validation. Acknowledgement that they're doing a good job. But if they don't think they're doing a good job as a human, nobody else is going to think they're doing a good job, you see. Absolutely, acceptance and acknowledgement, constantly looking. What else humans looking for? Happiness. The ever elusive happiness. What does happiness mean? What does happiness mean? Inner joy. Do you think most people even know how to spell inner joy? Probably not. No.
Okay, so under happiness we would put materiality.
It could be, yes. But you're absolutely right, and I hear it all the time. You have to. One of the amazing things about being in the non-physical form is if you tune in, you can actually hear prayers, and there's a lot of them every night all over the world. A lot of prayers being said to, whether it's saints or gods or gurus or the unknown, but a lot of prayers, and a lot of them come out with this, dear God, I just want to be happy. Like it's up to God? Like God's going to make you happy? It's kind of interesting, and I could do a whole comedy shtick on prayers. I think I will. Whole comedy shtick about when people ask for happiness, what does that generally mean? And then I look into it energetically. It means that they're upset with their spouse or their partner, and happiness is their spouse or their partner is just being nicer to them. They never thought maybe they need to be nicer to themselves, and happiness often is, I just want a job I really love. But then when I ask them, pretending that I'm some archangel, and I ask them, well, what job do you want? What job would make you happy? Well, I don't know. Just one where people are nice to me. I don't have to work so hard, and I make a lot of money. Maybe I don't need to work at all. Maybe I just sit home. And they don't really understand this thing called happiness. What is happiness? Going out to dinner every night? But then you get fat, and then you're not happy with yourself. This whole thing of happiness is kind of like a very neutral statement or undefined statement. I want to be happy. I guess what it really means is they're not happy. There's something unfulfilled incomplete. They're looking for something, but they have no idea what it is that they want. So it becomes a kind of an interesting game, and I hope I'm not being too crass here.
Go ahead.
But I'm trying to be clear, I guess. Clear. But it becomes an interesting game of elusive happiness. Always out there somewhere. Never here. Always out there. I would be happy if my kids were smarter. I'd be happy if I was a little younger. If I didn't have these physical problems. If I hadn't had such bad parents who gave me such uninteresting physical looks. You see, it truly becomes a game. Great. What else are humans looking for?
Love.
Love. Go ahead. What is love? That's a song. What is love? How is that?
Baby, don't hurt me, because they go hand in hand. See?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You can stand. Would you like to be a celebrity? No. Yeah, you really do want to be. I want to be a celebrity. So what is love? That's an interesting thing. I contend that the mass consciousness belief about love is generally kind of warped, because love is generally associated with parents who abused you. Not everybody, but a lot, most, vast majority, the extremely vast majority. So how many of you had parents that says, I'm going to smack you now, or I'm going to deprive you of something, but it's because I love you? And that sets up kind of an interesting, energetic definition of love. How many online, I want to ask people here, how many online have been divorced? More than once, more than twice. Oh, keep going. Okay, more than 5 times. So you got married for love. Well, actually, you didn't at all. Most of you did not get married for love. It was karma. You've been together before. You had things to work out and experience together. So you came back together. You met each other. Oh, I know you. You must be my soulmate. No, you've just been together before. You had stuff to work out. Maybe you could do it this lifetime. True love will never be found in another person until you find it in yourself. Never have a partnership with anyone else that's healthy and balanced until you have it with yourself. Then every relationship will be different. They won't be feeding. They won't be used to balance your masculine or feminine side or balance whatever. You never select a partner again to complete something within yourself. So I hear out there somebody saying, but what about love for my dog or my cat? What about that kind of love? You're getting close, because pets are basically extensions of you, kind of. Not you directly, because then you wouldn't like the pet so much, but they're kind of like your energy in that pet. And so it's actually part of the step or process in learning to love yourself. If you can learn to love your animals, your pets, these blessed beings, you can take that now, that same thing, and learn to love yourself. Meow, meow. So, what else do humans want? Come on. Don't. Distraction, absolutely, yes. Distraction, they get it. Distraction. They don't know they want distraction. They don't realize that, but that's exactly what they set up. It's a root cause. It's an energy thing. They want that. How come we haven't listed money here? That's really what a lot of it boils down to. Really. Money. Because money gives you security. With money, you think you're going to be accepted. You're going to have happiness. Everybody will love you. And then you're going to distract yourself with all the money you have. It's more in the Western cultures. Yes, I'm hearing. This is a very noisy audience. And not you, but the ones who have joined us. You know, they're willing to speak up more when they're not sitting here. I can hear them yelling at their computers. Yes, it's a Western thing. So, absolutely. But it's not just dollars or pesos or euros, but it's that abundance thing. Everybody wants it because it is a mass consciousness game. It's a huge things set up in the fabric of mass consciousness. Goods, material, security. So it's very much out there. So much of the pursuit is about that. And everyone here, physically or non-physically, you need to be honest with yourself. If you were given 3 wishes, one of them is going to be money or abundance. You're going to say abundance because, cash. Not just credit, not a 20-year payout on a jackpot, but cash now. And then you call it abundance because it sounds better, doesn't it? Yeah, I choose abundance. No, you're asking for money. So this is an issue. It's huge, and never feel guilty about it. It's just energy. It is just energy. That's all it is. It's energy that is kind of at a lowest common denominator. Everyone's agreed that they're going to use this for trade, and believe it or not, this planet, I don't care what the politicians say, this planet will come down to a common currency. There still may be other sub-currencies, but sooner or later it's going to. It only makes sense. Why would you have all sorts of different currencies that you have to convert when you travel, which is easy to do these days, and then you have to convert it, and somebody's making some money off the conversion. The money changers, you know how Yeshua felt about them. Table over. So you are going to come down with a single currency, maybe backed up or having more localized currencies as well. But sooner or later, and I know some of you, not some of you, but some people think that's some big plot for one world order. Yes, absolutely. What else? What else do humans want? Purpose. Absolutely. Thank you. Purpose. Why? Good question. This should be a relatively easy one. Why do humans want purpose? Gives them meaning to life. You know, it gives them meaning, and it's in a way it's this distraction. It can be wonderful, but it can also be a distraction. Somebody says, "I am an airline pilot," for instance. It's my purpose, or I am a spiritual healer or teacher. It's a purpose. Or that they are a banker or whatever it happens to be. It's a purpose, and it can also be a rut. But it makes them feel like they have something to do here on earth. How many, I don't need to see hands, but how many are like, well, I'm a parent. That's what I'm here for. Well, no, not really. Well, no, that's the most important thing to me in life is my children. Well, now, do you want that to be the most important thing to their children and to their children's children? So everybody, the whole purpose is just to have children and to pass this down. Isn't there a little bit higher purpose? Children are wonderful. It's a way of continuing and expanding, but not getting stuck. So humans cling to purpose. They cling to purpose. In the midst of the storm, they hang on to that purpose for dear life. They use to justify this life. They get to the other side, and I'll do a comedy show about that someday. Funny things that happen when people cross over to the other side. So often they say, I wasted my whole life on that. And oftentimes it wasn't even in joy. And they realize, put a lot of energy into something that wasn't really all that important. Okay, one or two more. What do humans want? Pardon? Health. Absolutely. Health. And, you know, it's interesting with so many of the dynamics going on. They want health, obviously. You want to feel good. By the way, pain, which is really what they don't want, pain is absolutely from the mind. It's not in the body.
Literally.
Body doesn't know anything about pain. It's only the mind. So and that's not just an Adamus fact. That's also scientific fact. If I would stamp on David's foot here, even though he's wearing very heavy shoes, the pain isn't in his foot. It's in his mind. Humans don't want pain. They say they want health, but it's so elusive right now. It really is. I mean, humans seem to be getting more and more sicknesses, diseases, part of it's because of mass consciousness. You throw it out there about cancer, throw it out there about all these diseases. If you breathe the air in Cincinnati, you're going to get cancer. That's what they say. And so then people adapt that. Suddenly you have a lot of unhealthy people. I'll wait for that statement. So, okay, next page, please. That's what humans want. And the list could go on and on, but that's pretty good.